Alright, so we are starting to compile an aerial offensive system. This is fun stuff. So far we have basic aerial control, how to fast aerial, and how to air dribble. This is really good because of the mileage we get from these techniques. However, one of these techniques we used last week also gives us huge mileage, and I call it the jab. The jab from the wall is essentially your setup that allows you to go into multiple different aerial plays. But not only that, these plays actually link together. Much like the ground offensive system where we could merge dribbles and strategies, we can do that in the air. Perfecting the jab or the setup is huge because it gives us tons of mileage. It's a fantastic building block because much like the ground moves, once we have the fundamentals down and we truly understand the move, we can manipulate it in ways we see fit. For example, the jab gives the opponent the opportunity to counter. So in that situation, if they're doing that, we may want to just fake that we're going to do the jab or even go straight into the move as our mechanics get better. For now, however, we need to perfect the jab so we have options in the air and we can consistently practice and therefore be more successful in game. And today we're going to look at the jab to set up the double touch, the backboard touch, or even some people who are old school might know it as the Deevo. And I will never forget watching that guy many years ago smashing double touches and actually becoming the RLCS champion, primarily due to backboard double touches. This game is amazing because of people doing things that other people didn't really consider to be repeatable, and they master that skill and then they just abuse him. And this is actually one of the reasons today we have such solid backboard defending, because of what Deevo did in Season 3 RLCS. Now, there are two kinds of double touches. One is coming from the floor and one is coming from the wall. Today we're going to do from the wall because I feel we need to learn redirects before we jump straight into double touches from the floor, and it sort of suits where we're going. I feel like the double touch is probably the most important move to do well at a high level. Whenever you watch high level players, they often go for double touches, especially in 2s and 3s because of the speed you can execute it. As good as air dribbles are, in a 3v3 situation, it can give time for the opponent to gather boost and to challenge. Whereas a double touch is so quick to execute, it can be really tricky to defend. And if your opponent is not on the backboard, it is such a tough save, so we really need to be good at this. So when to double touch is anytime you have an opportunity to get the jab and the opponent is not on the backboard, or anytime the ball has been hit fairly hard on the wall which has forced it to come out and essentially is giving you a free setup. So let's break down all the ways through this movement. Well, the setup is literally identical to the air dribbles that we did last week. So step 1 with the ball rolling and step 2, the jab, are the same. It's the next steps that are different. So if you want to learn how to do steps 1 and 2, click in the top corner of this video and watch the air dribble video which will explain all of that. Okay, so the difference comes here. The first touch. The first touch needs to be firm. Not hard, not soft, firm. One of the better ways to do this is to not boost through the flip. So this is similar to the air dribble when our first touch on the ball is without boost. However, the only difference is this time we're actually going to flip into the ball with just a simple front flip. Another way is to not flip and to just boost at the ball. Or we can air dribble up to the backboard and get the double touch that way. So let's break down each of these main methods, starting with the flip. We want to jab the ball, take a pause, assess the situation, go towards the ball with boost, stop boosting, front flip, then take a second to see where it's going and try to read that. Learning to read the ball takes time, but what I can say is give yourself space. You need space. One of the big problems people make in the flip method is they either clang the ball, making it really hard to read, or they hit it too much to the sides, making it go too far one way or the other so they can't reach it for the second touch. Or they do everything right, they hit the ball perfectly, but then as soon as they do that, they just boost non-stop at the ball. This causes two problems. 1, you have less time to react, and 2, the angle becomes tighter and is therefore harder to finish. So feather the boost up to the ball, stop boosting, front flip, assess the bounce, then feather to get to the ball and hit it into the net. Okay, let's look at the boost into the ball. We jab, we assess, we fly at the ball, and this is usually a good idea to do if you've jabbed the ball too hard and you would lose your flip by the time you actually arrive at the ball, or you could arrive on time but you would have had to have boosted non-stop, which means that the flip would be too powerful due to the momentum. So we boost to the ball with more aggression on the boost. So what this means is less feathering, and that will give you a firm touch off the backboard. Again, once we hit the ball, either stop boosting or pull back and start boosting away from the wall to slow down your car and give you time and space to finish. The air dribble method. We jab, we assess, We feather to the ball. We get a soft first touch, just like in the previous week's video on the Air Dribble. Then we boost so that we are hitting the backboard. This usually works on the lower backboard, as we won't get the same amount of space compared to the previous methods. Then once we see the ball is on track to the backboard, we either boost away or we stop boosting to give ourselves the space we need, and then we can fall into the ball and hit it on net. Hopefully that makes sense. As you can see, once we have a good understanding of the jab, the double touch is actually pretty simple to execute from the wall. It just requires practice. But the main points I want to emphasize again are: don't hit the ball too hard. Feather your boost, create space. Alright, let's get on to the training pack. And here it is, the training pack. Sapphire belt. And the link is always at the top, the code I should say. And all you don't want to do with this is try and figure out when the board is at its peak. When the board is at its peak is when you want to go, yeah, okay, register where it is, come from behind it, give it a flip into, and then just follow it up and tap it in. Same here, I'll wait for it to get to its peak so I know where it is. And this one I did a side flip. Now I mentioned before you can do a front flip, but you can do this with all sorts of flips, side flips, flip cancellations, as long as you hit the right part of the ball. But I'd recommend a front flip to begin with, just because it's real simple as you learn how to hit the ball. And this is literally just a game of getting a good first touch. It's all about the first touch, and from there it's not too difficult. Once you've hit a few of these, you'll start to learn where the ball goes, and you'll just realize it is really about the first touch. Again, I'm going to start adding some air rolls and stuff in. You don't need to do it, but I'm just working on that just to be a bit more direct and add a little bit of showtime. Why not? So off the backboard, get it touched, and just try and put it nice and high if you can, but double touches are so hard to save regardless. This one, same thing, it's at its peak, so I get behind it, I give it a blast, and I come flying in. Get a little touch there and boom, follow it in. It wasn't a great flip into the ball, but hey, we follow it in. Touch it out, that's what we do. I ran out of my flip, so I used the boost into the ball method that we spoke about. So here you go, look, I don't have my flip now, it's gone. So I just tap it with the boost and then follow it up and touch it down. Give it a bit of a hard hit there, come down. And you'd be surprised that those can work. Even if you don't get it direct to net, the player may not get the save and they might come out and you might be able to dunk them. So there's always that potential with this. But yeah, get it at the peak, nice touches, follow it up. I know you've got this. Code will be below in the description. Get 100%, put it in the Discord. I wish you a lot of luck with this one. Well, actually no luck involved, it's just practice, baby. Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves. Have a nice life, and as always, peace out. Peace.